Welcome to the Madison Miller Podcast. Today is Wednesday, May 1st, 2024. Today we will recap basketball, hockey, playoffs, MLB, soccer, golf. We'll get into the dose of reality TV today, news and notes, and best bet. We'll start the NBA playoffs. Oh, what a night it was in the NBA playoffs. 2 awesome games and 1 bad game. The game of the night, which has been the series of the first round. Sixers over the Knicks, 112-106, overtime. Philly forces a game 6 back to Philadelphia, where Knicks fans took over in game 4. And now, will they do it again in game 6? We shall see. But Tyrese Maxey had the game of his life. And the Knicks made some mistakes down the stretch that had Philadelphia come back and win that game. And let's face it, this should be a 3-2 series. The Sixers had a collapse in Game 2, and the Knicks had a collapse in Game 5. And Knicks fans will tell you this is the worst loss they've had since the Reggie Miller game. It probably is. It probably is. But it'll be forgotten if they find a way to win the series. Not inconceivable. They should win this series. They would have the Game 7 on their home court, but they can absolutely close it out in Philadelphia, where they don't have a real home court advantage, as we saw in Game 4. And then the Cavs over to Magic 104-103 to take a 3-2 series lead, as the home team has won every game in the series. And Orlando did everything in this game, but for some reason, they didn't give the ball to Paolo Banchero in crunch time, and that came back to bite him, and the Cavs find a way to win without Jarrett Allen. Bucks over the Pacers, 115-92, and what was the most shocking result of the night to force a Game 6 back in Indy? Honestly, if I was the Knicks, I'd rather have lost the way Indy lost tonight. Blown out at home. Maxey hits 10 threes. I'd rather have lost like that. Rather lose like how Indiana lost. So in Indiana, I could be like, okay, fluke loss. Bucks shot well from 3. Chris Middleton looked like his old self. Oh, there was only 11 threes for Milwaukee, but they had a lot of field goals. Like Bobby Portis was awesome. Lopez was awesome. Beasley hit threes. Some of their role guys came through for them. Connaughton hit a big 3, hit some field goals. But you gotta give Doc Rivers credit for rallying that team together after many thought they were going to get blown out in that game. So, yours truly has a Knicks in 6 ticket, an Indy in 6 ticket, and the Dallas in 6 ticket, which all can conceivably hit. So, 2 games tonight. 7:30 TNT Heat Celtics. Celtics win. They're on to the second round. They lose. Be a Game 6 on Friday night, which the Celtics do not want. No Jimmy Butler. No Jaime Jaquez. No Terry Rozier. And no Porzingis. Even without Kristaps Porzingis, the Celtics should find a way to win this game. I've been projected as an 18-point favorite, total 222 and 9/10. And right now, it is 13.5 and 198.5. That's the lowest total I've seen in some time, under 200. Like, what is this? Like a college game or something? Give me the over, and I'll also lay it with the Celtics. And the second of 2 games, 10 o'clock on TNT, Mavs Clippers. No Kawhi Leonard. My projection is a pick'em. Total 229 and 19/20, and it's Mavs by 3, total 207. I'll take the over, and I'll hedge and take the Clippers plus 3. And I say hedge in terms of my Mavs in 6. Mavs to win the series with a bunch of other teams win their series parlays. And you know yours truly is going to be hedging. And she'll be hedging with a lot of soccer and some baseball near locks, if possible. And maybe the Celtics. So, Clips +3. Podcast pick the over. Someone's going to get hot from 3. But also take Clips +3. Maybe Luka hits a game winner late and he goes maxi on the Clippers. Or Kyrie hits a big shot, which would be kind of appropriate. So, I'll take the Clips +3 in a close one, although I do see Dallas going up 3-2, and I obviously think that Boston will close out. If Boston doesn't close out Miami tonight, that would be a shame. I know Kristaps isn't playing, which is a big deal, and I think that may cost them down the road, but not right now. Not against this weak Heat team without Jimmy Butler. Now move on to hockey. We'll recap the results from last night and look ahead to the games today. Leafs over the Bruins 2-1 in overtime on a game winner by Matthew Nice to force a game 6 to stave off elimination. And no Austin Matthews in that game, by the way. Hurricanes over the Islanders 6-3 to advance, and they'll face the New York Rangers in the second round. Avalanche over the Jets 6-3 to advance. They'll play the winner of Stars Golden Knights in the second round. And the Predators over the Canucks 2-1 to stave off elimination and force a game 6. Only 2 games tonight, 7:30 ESPN. Golden Knights Stars. Stars with a chance to go up 3-2 after being down 0-2 and losing those 2 games at home. Dallas -162, Vegas +134, over under 5.5, overs -122, unders even money. Vegas +1.5 is -196, Stars -1.5 is +162. My pick here. The Stars in regulation, -105. 10 o'clock on ESPN. Kings Oilers. Oilers -196. Kings +160, over under 6.5. Overs +104. Unders -128. Kings +1.5 is -160. Oilers -1.5 is +132. I like the over 6.5 at +104. Okay, now move on to baseball. We'll go over the results from last night and look ahead to today's games. Cardinals over the Tigers 2-1, game 1 doubleheader. O's over the Yankees 4-2. Marlins over the Rockies 7-6 and 10 on a walk-off single by Dane Myers. Tigers over the Cardinals 11-6 doubleheader game 2. Royals over the Blue Jays 4-1, so best bet wins. Mets over the Cubs 4-2. Red Sox over the Giants 4-0. Twins over the White Sox 6-5. Brewers over the Rays 8-2. Rangers over the Nats 7-1. Astros over the Guardians 10-9 and 10 on a walk-off home run by Victor Caratini as a pinch hit shot as well. Phillies over the Angels 7-5. Mariners over the Braves 3-2. Padres over the Reds 6-4. D-backs over the Dodgers 4-3 and 10 on a walk-off home run, 2-run shot by Christian Walker. And the A's over the Pirates 5-2. All right, today's games, 1 o'clock, you have the Cardinals against the Tigers. The pitching matchup is Miles Mikolas and Kenta Maeda. -188 each way. It's a pick 'em. Over under 8.5. Overs -4. Unders -118. Cards -1.5 is +150. Tigers +1.5 is -182. I like the over. Rays Brewers. Zach Eflin and Colin Rea. Rays minus 126. Brewers plus 108. Over under 8.5. Overs even money. Unders minus 122. Rays minus 1.5 is plus 38. Brewers plus 1.5 is minus 166. I like the over at even money. 2 o'clock, Twins, White Sox. Bailey Ober and Chris Flexen. Twins minus 210. White Sox plus 176. Over under 9. Overs minus 4. Unders minus 118. Twins minus 1.5 is minus 125. White Sox plus 1.5 is plus 104. I'm going over 9 at minus 104. 3 o'clock, Royals, Blue Jays. Seth Lugo, Chris Bassett. Jays minus 134. Royals plus 116. Over under 8. Overs minus 115. Unders minus 105. Royals plus 1.5 is minus 184. Jays minus 1.5 is plus 150. For this one, I'm going to go... I don't feel good about it. But I'm going to go Royals money line plus 116. 3:30 Pirates A's. A's going for the sweep. Queen Priester and Ross Stripling. Pirates minus 112. A's minus 104. Over under 8. Overs minus 105. Unders minus 115. Pirates minus 1.5 is plus 152. A's plus 1.5 is minus 184. Over. Braves Mariners. Chris Sale, Emerson Hancock. Braves minus 172, Mariners plus 144, over under 7.5, overs minus 115, others minus 105. Braves minus 1.5 is plus 104, Mariners plus 1.5 is minus 125. I like the over at minus 115. All right, next, 4 o'clock, Phils Angels. Zach Wheeler, Patrick Sandoval. Phils minus 178, Angels plus 150, over under 8, overs minus 105, unders minus 115. Phils minus 1.5 is minus 108, Angels plus 1.5 is minus 111. Phils run line. Reds Padres. Graham Ashcraft, Joe Musgrove. Padres minus 136, Reds plus 116, over under 8, overs minus 115, unders minus 105. Reds plus 1.5 is minus 194, Padres minus 1.5 is plus 160, I like the over at minus 115. 6:30 Yanks O's. Luis Heel, Corbin Burns. O's minus 158, Yankees plus 134, over under 8.5, minus 110 each way. Yanks plus 1.5 is minus 150, O's minus 1.5 is plus 125. For this one, I'm going under 3.5 Yankee runs, minus 108. This offense is just not fun to watch right now. And Corbin Burns is probably going to win the AL Cy Young with Cole out. So, that's the obvious pick. Rockies Marlins. Dakota Hudson and Roderi Munoz. Marlins minus 152. Rockies plus 128. Over under 8. Overs minus 115. Unders minus 105. Rocks plus 1.5 is minus 182. Marlins minus 1.5 is plus 150. I like the over at minus 115. 7 o'clock Cubs Mets. Shota Imanaga and Jose Budo. Cubs minus 118. Mets even money, over under 7.5. Minus 10 each way. Cubs minus 1.5 is plus 142. Mets plus 1.5 is minus 172. I'm going to go with the under. Giants Red Sox. TBD and Cutter Crawford. Pick a minus 180 each way, over under 8.5. Overs minus 105. Unders minus 115. Giants minus 1.5 is plus 152. Red Sox plus 1.5 is minus 184. Giants favored on the money line. Giants favored on the run line. Red Sox favored on the money line. I'm going with Boston minus 108. 8 o'clock, Nats Rangers. Trevor Williams and Andrew Heaney. Rangers minus 174. Nats plus 146. Over under 9. Minus 110 each way. Nats plus 1.5 is minus 146. Rangers minus 1.5 is plus 122. I'm going with an upset special. I like the Nats plus 146. Trevor Williams has been good this year so far. Guardians Astros. Tristan McKenzie and Justin Verlander. Astros minus 172. Guardians plus 144. Over under 8.5. Minus 110 each way. Guardians plus 1.5 is minus 146. Astros minus 1.5 is plus 122. Under. And last but not least, 9:30 Dodgers D-backs. Yoshi Yamamoto and Zach Gallen. Dodgers minus 138. D-backs plus 118. Over under 9. Overs minus 115. Unders minus 105. Dodgers minus 1.5 is plus 114. D-backs plus 1.5 is minus 137. I like the under at minus 105. Now we'll go over the soccer results from yesterday and look ahead to today's soccer games. We actually had a MLS game, so let's start with that. Seattle beats the Union 3-2 in their home building. So props to the Storm. The Sounders going into Philadelphia. Tough place to play, getting the points there. Also, the big one, Champions League. Bayern, Real Madrid, 2-2 draw. Coming out today at 3 o'clock. Dortmund, PSG. Very fascinating game. Dortmund in Bundesliga and PSG in League One. This is about as heavyweights can get. Dortmund's plus 175, PSG's plus 145, the draw's plus 260. The better team is PSG. Dortmund is home. Dortmund needs to get out of this in style. So I'm actually going to do it. I'm going to take him at plus 175. All right. CONCACAF semifinals. Pachuca over America 2-1, and they advanced 3-2 on aggregate. So Pachuca with the big upset there. And then tonight, 10:50, we have Monterrey and Columbus, the Columbus Crew, who lead 2-1 on aggregate. I'm just going to pull up the odds really quickly. Monterrey's minus 210, Columbus plus 450, draw plus 310. Monterrey should win. They're home. Columbus right now is kind of reminds me of LAFC last year. A lot of games, a lot of big games, and that could wear them out. It wore out LAFC last year, but it took them all the way to the final against the Columbus Crew. I could see Columbus in a similar situation. They played so many games, and I could just see them running out of gas. I'm willing to parlay Monterrey minus 210 and under 2.5 goals at plus 102. I could see this being a 2-0 game or a 1-0 game for Monterrey. So I'm going to go under 2.5 goals at plus 102. Or I could see it being 1-1 and going into kicks, which would be outstanding theater. Next, EFL Championship. Ipswich over Coventry 2-1. The Saudis Kings Cup. Al Hilal over Al Ittihad 2-1. And then today you have Al Nassr and Al Khalij. Al Nassr is going to win that going away. Al Nassr is the better team. And they've owned soccer in that country for a while. I don't see how they lose. They're home. That crowd's going to be ruckus. So Al Nassr is going to win the game. I'm just double checking, making sure we got to everything. Oh, we have some women's soccer tonight. That's fun. 7 o'clock, Orlando, North Carolina. Gotta love the women's league. That's always a fun league to talk about. Orlando plus 130, North Carolina plus 195, draw plus 240. Orlando at home plus 130. 8 o'clock, Chicago, Washington. Chicago plus 175, Washington plus 155, the draw is plus 230. Washington's been better. They're coming off a loss. They bounce back plus 155. Then 10 o'clock, the CBS Sports Network, AFC in Portland. No odds up for this game yet. Don't like how Bay FC is playing. I think this is a draw. And I would pick that for whenever those odds come out. All right, the Women's Super League. We have Liverpool and Chelsea at 2 o'clock. Big one. Trying to find that. Maybe under live and upcoming. There's a lot of games in the morning for leagues we don't cover. I don't see it odds for that yet, but Chelsea's favored by 340. Over under 3.5. I'll probably go under. Serie B, Copa do Brasil. That's a league we really don't cover. So there you have it for soccer. Now move on to golf. We have the CJ Cup Byron Nelson coming up, formerly the AT&T Byron Nelson. So we have some tee times. 7:50. Justin Lauer, CAU, Taylor Pendrith, Alex Loren, Kevin Chappell, and Michael Kim. 8:01. Ben Griffin, Grayson Seed, Cody Gribble, C.T. Pond, Sean O'Hare, Matt Trainer. 8:12. Pat Gazier, Wesley Bryan, Ben Taylor, Nate Watney, Ryan Palmer, Josh Teeter. 8:23. Matt Wallace, Cam Champ, Taylor Hogue, Bryce Garnett, Daniel Berger, Kevin Kisner. 8:34. Tom Ken, Victor Norman, Stuart Singh, Camilo Vegas, Matt Kuchar, Mackenzie Hughes. 8:45. Nicholas Echeverria, Son J.M., Chester V, Jordan Spieth, Keith Mitchell, and Jason Day. 8:56. Matthew Neesmith, Mark Hubbard, Doug Ginn, Matthias Schmidt, Nate Lashley, Alex Baddeley. 9:07. Taylor Montgomery, Robbie Shelton, Brandon Wu, Zach Blair, Kevin Streelman, James Hahn. 9:18. Callum Tarrant, Joseph Brumlett, Ben Martin, Matt McNeely, Ben Coles, and Chasen Hadley. 9:29. Paul Fishburne, Trevor Crow, Zheng Du, Robert McIntyre, Chris Gotterup, Will Pareda. 9:40. Max McGreevy, Jimmy Stranger, Mac Meisner, Ryan McCormick, Jacob Bridgman, and Blaine Hill Jr. We're going to do notables now. Rio Hisatunes, 9:51, Peter Quest. 10:02, Sammy Valamaki's in there, and so is Austin Smotherman. 1 o'clock, Richie Rensky, Alex Smalley, Jimmy Walker, Carson Young, Roger Sloan, Scott Kacheski. 1:11, Grayson Higo, Lucas Griffin, David Thompson, Dylan Wu, Jonathan Vegas, Vio Hostler. 1:22, Justin Zhu, Harry Hall, Hayden Buckley, Scott Stevens, Davis Lipsky, Robert Brem, Sunghoon Kang. Actually, Brem's 133 with Joel Dahman, Jake Knapp, Seamus Power, Adam Shank, Luke List. 144, JJ Spawn, Nate Hardy, Stefan Yeager, Nick Dunlap, Byung Ganon, Brent Snecker. 155, Saiwoo Kim, Chad Ramey, Adam Scott, Davis Riley, Zach Johnson, KH Lee. 206, M.W. Lee, Thomas Dietrich, Kevin Tway, Kelly Kraft. 217, Andrew Novak, Vincent Whaley, Austin Tick, Martin Laird, Ryan Moore, Tremerit. 228, Henrik Norlander, Tyson Alexander, Chun Yuan, Aaron Ray, Sam Ryder, S.H. Kim. 239, Ryan Fox, Hayden Springer, Harrison Endicott. 250, Pearson Cootie, Alexander Zork. 301, Kevin Doherty, Eric Barnes. And 312, Parker Cootie, Trevor Whitney, D.A. Skins. David Skins. I'm thinking of D.A. points. All right. My guy Jason Day won this last year. I don't like picking the winner from the previous year. You guys know that. If I'm not mistaken, this was the tournament where I infamously picked Ryan Palmer and he had the lead and he choked. So I can't go back there. Scotty's not playing. And neither is Xander. And Scotty did good in this event last year. So for this pick, I am going to lay a 20th of a unit on the pick. With a lot of thought into this, and this was a hard one to pick because a lot of these guys that were in it last year and did well are not in it this year. There's a couple of guys taking some vacations. So, this is a good spot to find some value. 80-1 there is a golfer sitting there that came in fourth last year in this event and shot a 9 under in the final round. That is CT Pond. I'm going to take the 20th of a unit and go with CT Pond to win the CJ Cup Byron Nelson 2024. We have a lot of reality TV to talk about. We'll start with Survivor. Last week was a solid episode. And there's news that broke over the weekend that Survivor 50 is going to be all returning players. But that's not for another 2 years from now. But that is just fun news. And the last time Survivor had a season with all returning players was Survivor 40. And that was before the new era. So we'll see if they mix the players from the new era, the mid-era, from 30 to 39, and an old school Survivor. We'll see how they do it, but it's fascinating. And I just wanted to bring that up when talking about Survivor today. All right, so the immunity challenge was a fun one last week. Is that they broke up into 3 teams of 3, and it was run in 3 phases. The first stage, 1 player at a time, crossed a balance beam and grabbed a pair of handles. And then they used the handles to transfer a buoy across a second zigzag balance beam. Once everyone was across, they worked together to dig up 3 rope rungs. And the first 2 teams to finish moved on to the second stage. And in stage number 2, the teams used the rope rungs to build a bridge. Once everyone was across, they each had to land the ball on a ring mounted on a pole. The first group that finished moved on to the third and final stage where they compete against one another for individual immunity. And the last stage consists of the players standing on a narrow ledge with their hands holding onto a handle behind their head. And if a hand or foot came off the handle or the ledge, the player was out. And the last player still on their perk 1 immunity. All right, so Team Orange was Kenzie, Ben, and Tiff. Team Purple was Maria, Hunter, and Charlie. And Team Green was Q, Liz, and Venus. So that's how the teams were. Trying to think of how the teams were when we did the recap on last Thursday's podcast. So the first team out was Orange, which is Kenzie, Ben, and Tiff. And Jeff predicted that Q, Liz, and Venus was going to be the disaster group. But it ended up being Team Orange, which was a little bit of a Yanu throwback other than Ben. And then the green team, which was Q, Liz, and Venus, lost in the second round. And then it was Hunter, Maria, and Charlie in the final stage. And Charlie, yet again, versus Hunter for immunity. And Charlie this time comes out on top. All right, and then there was some drama before Tribal. Hunter told everyone he was going to play his idol. Tiffany told everybody that she was going to play her idol. And both idols were not played because they both were convinced that Q or somebody else was going home. So this is how the votes went. 4 for Hunter, 4 for Q, and then the random vote for Ben sent it to a tie. And Ben was safe, so it was either Q or Tevin going home. And it was a near unanimous vote. 6-1 Hunter. Liz voted for Q. And Q and Hunter couldn't vote, so Hunter goes home, flushing down his idol. I did some of the superlatives last week, but I'll just do the main 3. I think Maria wins. I'm going to say Liz goes home tonight because she was on the wrong side of the vote. And the previews for next week showed her kind of getting into it with people, so I could see Liz going home. And then individual immunity. That's a tough one. But I'm going to go on a limb here. I'm going to say Venus. Why not? Venus has surprised everybody this season. And I think she's going to continue to do so. So I'm going to say Venus wins individual immunity. All right, the Masked Singer. We talked a little Masked Singer on yesterday's show. But now we're just going to preview tonight, which is obviously the Group B final for Beats, Gumball, and Seal. Good group of contestants. Beats performed. I'm so excited by the Pointer Sisters. I still think this is Steve Martin and Martin Short. We're overdue for these guys to be on the show. We've been calling for them for years now. They're 2 of the best actors in the world. They've been besties for a long time. They're in Father to Bride together. They did Saturday Night Live together. They're in that new show together. And I believe Meryl Streep's in that show too, which is fun. So, Beats just screams them. Robin said Brooks and Dunn, which was interesting. Jenny said Titus Burgess and Alan Cumming. Gumball performed Wide Open Spaces by the Chicks. I think this is potentially Lance Bass. I can't get a good grip on Gumball. I do think this is a boy bander. I just can't point my finger on which one. I'm going with Lance Bass. Rita said Aaron Taylor Johnson. Jenny said Derek Hoff, which is a good guess. And Ken said Taron Killam. Seal is the wild card. Seal performed Hold On by Wilson Phillips. For right now, I'm sticking with Jordan Knight as my guest from New Kids. I think this is also a boy band there because there's posters and stuff, but this could be an athlete. I just can't pinpoint on which athlete it could be. I mean, like, could it be somebody that we're not thinking of that was a popular athlete? And, like, I need to think about it long and hard. I can't wait for the show. And 2 go home, which is crazier. So Ken said Haley Joe Osment, Jenny said Corey Feldman, and Robin said Sean Astin. So at gunpoint, who will join Goldfish, Clock, and Poodle Moth in the final? I think it's going to be Gumball. Gumball is the best one of the 3. I think Gumball's really talented. He could sing, and I think that he could be a threat to win along with Clock and along with Poodle Moth as well. I mean, Starfish is a contender. I'm sorry, not Starfish. Goldfish is a contender too. I think it's more wide open than it's been in shows past, but I do think Goldfish is the favorite to win. I think Goldfish is the best contestant, although I do think it's wide open. I'm going to say that the first out will be... Oh, that's hard. I'm going to say Beats is out first, and we get Stephen Martin. That's weird saying that. Stephen Martin. Because Steve Martin Short. I think we'll get them. And then Steele's next, and then it'll be whatever boy band or athlete. I wrote down Jordan Knight, but I may have a different guest by tomorrow or whenever I watch Masked Singer. So stay tuned for that, and then Gumball advances to the quarters next week. So May 8th will be the quarters, and then the semis will be the 15th, and then the final will be the 22nd. Okay, Dance Moms was a show from the early 2010s that broke out to be this massive hit. And tonight, at 8 o'clock on Lifetime, they're going to have a reunion. Not the entire cast, but the cast members that agreed to be a part of this. This was a big time show when I was a teenager. And when COVID happened, it kind of came back a little bit. A lot of shows kind of came back during COVID because nobody was doing everything. Everybody was just binge watching shows. So this is really awesome that this reunion is coming together, and all the moms and all the girls are still good friends. Christy Lukasiak and Kelly Hyland, who are the moms of Chloe, and then Brooke and Paige, respectively, have the podcast Back to the Bar. And then Kelly, Holly, Jill, and Melissa have their own podcast as well that they record weekly. And then Abby came out with her own show. And by the way, Abby will not be on the reunion as far as I'm concerned in terms of... They'll show highlights of her, but she will technically be on there talking now. Abby on the reunion would be weird. Considering a majority of the girls don't speak to her anymore. But yeah, she has her own podcast too. So, in the reunion is Chloe and Christy Lukasiak, Brooke, Paige, and Kelly Hyland, Jill and Kendall Vertes, JoJo Siwa and her mom, Jessica, Kalani Hilakir and her mom, Kira Gerard. So that's a good group. And Kalani came in the latter half of the series after Brooke and Paige left. She kind of replaced them on the show. And then JoJo, I think, replaced Chloe. Or maybe she replaced Brooke and Paige. I think JoJo replaced Chloe, so Kalani was there before JoJo. And the funny thing is that Dance Moms is actually where JoJo Siwa got her start. And now she's the biggest star of all of them. And now she's touring around the world. And she was on The Masked Singer. She was on We Are Family. Like, everyone in America should know who JoJo Siwa is. So this is going to be really, really fun. And it's unfortunate that Maddie and Mackenzie Ziegler and their mom, Melissa Gisoni, aren't on it. Or Nia Siux and her mom, Holly Frazier, are not on it. Because it would have been lovely if they all were on it as well. But it's going to be fun. And apparently it's very vulnerable with the girls. And there's a lot of tears. But I think it's going to be a big hit. And I'll obviously talk about it on the podcast on Thursday and see how it comes out and what highlights appear and if there's any surprise appearances by people we don't expect. And I know one of the big-time producers, Brian, was the one that orchestrated this, so props to him. Okay, now move on to the news and notes for today. So LeBron made a post about his future, and he says that he wants to spend time with his family right now and then talk about his future later, which is the right thing to do. LeBron said all the right things, and he did the right thing by saying that on social media. I'm not going to kill him for it. So we really don't have to worry about LeBron until after the season's over anyway. I think it is going to be a crazy summer. Bojan Bogdanovic out for the rest of the playoffs with season-ending surgery on foot and wrist, so that's not great for the depth for the Knicks. Mitchell Robinson came back last night against the Sixers with the ankle sprain and was pretty impactful. Nick Nurse has a finger injury as he has a breaker sprain after slamming hand in frustration during Game 5. Woof. It's funny. Not funny, but that's crazy. He got hurt, and the Wolves coach got hurt in the playoffs. But I don't think anybody had two coaches getting injured during the playoffs on their bingo cards. The Cavs didn't have Jared Allen last night against the Magic due to a rib injury, which makes that loss by Orlando really disappointing. The Celtics will not have Kristaps Porzingis for Game 5, as he has a right calf injury, and he's expected to be out minimum of several games. Not ideal, Boston, not ideal. The Bucks were missing Giannis and Dame and still blew out Indiana, which was pretty impressive. You got to give credit to Doc Rivers and the Bucks for their inspiring effort by staving off elimination at home. Kawhi Leonard out for Game 5 again. Knee injury, not ideal. Joel Embiid unbothered by the chants, as he loves the trolling by the Knicks fans, which is crazy. Trae Young opened up on his future as he explains why he wants to win Atlanta, but doesn't have time to waste. How about this from Woj? LeBron and Bronny may not team up as playing with his son is no longer a priority for LeBron. Wow. Diana Taurasi backs up the Caitlin Clark quote as she says new fans are really sensitive these days, which I don't disagree. The Leafs for missing Austin Matthews in Game 5 with an illness and undisclosed injury really didn't matter tonight or last night as they got the W in OT. Darvin Ham calls out a Lakers starter as he's candid about an unnamed player. Yikes. The Coyotes were late on Bills as that was reported inside teams' financial woes prior to their sale. Yikes. Jalen Milroe talks the Rose Bowl as he gave his thoughts if Michigan cheated or not. That's crazy. Shader Sanders rips Xavier Smith's criticism of Dion. And then Cameron Silman Craig responds as he defends Dion and all this crap that's going on as well. Jalen Johnson clears the air with Caleb Williams after he spoke with Williams about previous Hollywood comments. So, this was a story that we didn't touch on the podcast. As Jalen Johnson says, no Hollywood drama in Chicago. So, Jalen Johnson said that Caleb Williams can't bring that Hollywood stuff into the building. And then Johnson said that the conversation was taken completely the wrong way. He says people to me just want to clickbait and didn't even take into consideration the whole context of the damn conversation. Because when we were talking, she had brought up, oh, how do you feel about Caleb Williams if he comes to you guys to draft him? He looks Hollywood, and how do you... So then that's how the whole Hollywood came. So they cleared the air there. Arkansas is likely landing Janelle Davis from FAU as he was offered an NIL deal of $1 million, but prefers to go pro. Ooh. So Janelle Davis with John Calipari. And speaking of John Calipari, his old team lands former Oklahoma State transfer Brandon Garrison. So that's an interesting pickup there. He was a highly touted player, and now he transferred. So how about this? The Astros option Jose Abreu. Why am I laughing? This is not nice. They optioned Jose Abreu to single A. And both sides agreed that the vet needs to get some at-bats and his timing back right. That's a huge yikes. They didn't even designate him for assignment. They sent him to single A. Like, who does that? Like, really? Like, this isn't funny. I mean, Jose Abreu has been a big free agent bust with the Astros. And we all thought he was a possible missing piece for them to extend their dynasty. But that obviously hasn't been the case. All right, the choice situation. $16 million allegedly stolen from Ohtani, traced to gambling accounts at casinos in California and Vegas. Yikes. And there's a benches clearing incident in Race Brewers as there was punches thrown. And then Jose Siri and the Brewers pitcher explained what happened before they got into it, which was a pretty interesting explanation. So there you have it for news and notes. Last but not least, my best bet of the day brought to you by FanDuel. There's a couple that stand out to me. Obviously, yesterday's was a winner. And I want to keep this streak going. And the game where I landed on, I'm going to go back to the well. And I got refunded for this one because the game didn't play. Cardinals Tigers over 8.5 minus 104. I think that both of those starting pitchers have been off the slow starts, and I think both offenses take advantage. So I'm going over 8.5 at minus 104 between the Cards and the Tigers for my best bet of the day. So there you have it for the show, and I'll be back tomorrow recapping everything and look at everything tomorrow. And then tomorrow morning, we're going to have Jeff Burns on the show, so we'll do some Kentucky Derby preview and picks as well. So hope you guys have a great day, everyone.